Diane Brady. I'm here with Stephen Messer, who is the co-founder and vice chairman of Collectivize. Stephen, good to see you. We're talking about this almost Faustian pact that we have to do now with AI in terms of using some of the third-party AI and some of the confusion. I want to start with Collectivize because you've invested a lot in this area. Tell us first what Collectivize does.
So Collectivize has been around for about 9 years. It's short for collective intelligence. And we focus on something called a foundation model. And a foundation model is, think about deep learning AI as a very narrow level intelligence. We focus on the transactional economy, understanding how business is done around the globe for other companies.
Transactional being sales, revenue generation.
Sales, revenue, supply chain, anything that has to do touching revenue, we focus on figuring out how to enhance it, make it more efficient, smarter.
So I want to distinguish deep learning and AI because they're often put in the same bucket, yet they're not quite the same thing. So can you just clarify?
Yeah, I feel like AI counts like calculators these days. Like everything is AI.
You can drive a truck through it.
You could
Big data used to be like that too.
And by the way, half the companies I see with the .ai, I always think to myself, that's the most expensive they've ever put into AI, is just buying the domain name. But yeah, I think that's right. Deep learning is a dramatically different type or approach to understanding the world. And essentially what you're doing with deep learning is you've created a technology that mimics our brain. And then you fed it more information than our brain gets. And it gets smart. And it becomes, at one point, a super intelligence, but in a very narrow category. So it's not going to take over the world if you've trained it on language or the economy. It's only going to be able to do one thing, do it very well, do it better than humanity, but that's it. Which is very different than machine learning. Machine learning is designed to essentially provide an average view of the world, like regression. It says, oh, most people in our world.
So it's taking ambient data and it's basically distilling trends?
It's actually even worse than that.
Okay.
What it is you have a data scientist whose job is to know the area and be an expert. Then they do something called feature selection. You don't need to know what a feature is other than it's a little piece of data like first name or city or
because they glean what's important.
They decide of all the data that's available, how to narrow it down to a smaller amount of features that they think matter. And then they use a historical run that says, oh, for the last 2 years, these 4 features really mattered in predicting things, which is great until the world changes.
Right.
Which, thank
God.
God.
Swans and machine learning do not go along.
Well, I was going to say, thank God in the last 4 years, we haven't had a once in a lifetime thing happen every quarter, like, I don't know, pandemics or hyperinflation out of nowhere, massive interest rate changes, World War III. Like, thank God these things don't happen because these models break every single time you need them the most because they've simplified the world. In essence, machine learning is trying to make like below average people average, whereas deep learning is trying to give everybody a superpower. That's the big difference. And
let's equate that now to the conversation at the moment is all about generative AI.
Yeah.
Let's draw this back to that. And again, contextually, let's remind people where you sit on this and where you've invested.
So let's go through the ones that have become popular today.
Right.
So in generative AI, the first one is like a ChatGPT or a Bard or an Anthropic. And there, the reason why I mentioned it's a superpower is I can't write my mother a poem for her birthday like Eminem until I have ChatGPT. All of a sudden now, I am this superhuman. I could write a Seinfeld skit about her birthday and I can do it in minutes. That's a superpower I could never have gotten before. That's an example of generative AI. In imagery, I am not an artist. I can go and type in a whole bunch of words and get a great photo for Midjourney or DALL-E or one of the other ones. I can do that. Now I can do that with video. I could actually take my script of Seinfeld and then make a video.
Make a Hollywood movie.
Make a Hollywood movie. If only people weren't on strike, I could now make the movie for myself and watch it and find it really funny. These are examples of things where generative AI, in our world, I can take someone and say, here's how to go about doing your business. Here's who to sell to. Here's how to tell them. Here's who's going to be involved. All of these things are providing the average person these capabilities that they would never have had before. And I think that's why it's so disruptive to the world.